Welcome back, and thank you for being here. I'm Luna Celestine, and today we're stepping into the subtle yet profound energies of April 11th, a day that may not demand immediate action, but one that quietly invites deep inner change. If you've been feeling nudged to release what no longer fits, to pause instead of push, or to step outside the familiar with more honesty than before, know that you're not alone. The astrology of today signals a turning point, not the kind that announces itself loudly, but the kind that unfolds gently, asking for presence, not performance. With the moon beginning to shift into more introspective territory, the cosmos invites you to return to yourself, to notice what you've been carrying, and to ask whether it still needs to be held. You're not being asked to fix everything overnight, only to begin showing up differently, with more care, more truth, and more awareness of what your body, heart, and mind are trying to say. And so our journey today begins here, in the stillness between the noise, in the small rituals that help you feel grounded, and in the quiet decision to honor the version of you that's quietly emerging through it all. Let's begin. When it comes to finances, today carries the subtle momentum of a quiet breakthrough. Something that's been delayed, whether it's a project, a payment, or a long-awaited decision, may finally start to gain traction. It's not necessarily dramatic or loud, but the shift is real, like a door that's been stuck finally beginning to creak open. If you've been feeling stagnant around money, resources, or career progress, pay close attention to what starts moving today. It might be a passing idea, a conversation with someone you didn't expect, or even a renewed sense of confidence around something you'd nearly given up on. These aren't just coincidences, they're cues, and they're pointing you toward a new flow of abundance. As a Leo, you're naturally loyal to what's familiar, but today, luck doesn't come from repetition, it comes from your willingness to shift, to see an opportunity and lean into it, even if the outcome isn't guaranteed. The universe is encouraging you to invest, not just financially, but energetically, in the future you're ready to create. Because when your choices are guided by self-trust rather than fear, you don't just attract success, you embody it. This is also a good moment to reassess where your time, money, and energy are going. Every decision you make today sends a message to the universe and to yourself about what you believe you're worthy of. Are you spending out of habit or out of alignment with what truly matters to you? Are you investing in quick fixes or in long-term foundations that reflect your values? If a creative project, a business idea, or even a small financial goal has been quietly waiting in the background, this is a good time to give it space to breathe. You don't have to go all in at once, but take the first step. Nurture it. Let it know you believe in its potential. And if you've been looking for a sign, let the numbers today be a quiet nudge from the cosmos. 9, 20, 23, 33, 48, 62, 76. These numbers carry the energy of movement, of forward motion after delay, of breakthroughs born from persistence. Money, after all, is not just currency. It's a reflection of your relationship to worth. So today, ask yourself gently, where am I placing my value? And is it feeding the life I want to grow? When the answer is yes, the flow returns, not just in your bank account, but in your spirit. In the realm of work, April 11th opens a door not only to advancement, but to meaningful contribution. If you felt like your recent efforts haven't been fully recognized, or that you've outgrown the roles and routines you once thrived in, today's cosmic atmosphere brings encouragement. You are ready for more. More responsibility, yes, but also more freedom. More space to create, to lead, to redefine what success actually means for you. The stars today favor bold moves, but not reckless ones. This is about strategic courage, the kind that comes from clarity, not impulse. You may feel drawn to step into unfamiliar territory at work, whether that's pitching a new idea, volunteering for a leadership role, or shifting the direction of a current project. Trust that instinct. You're not being asked to have all the answers. You're being asked to show up differently, to embody the vision that others can't yet see, but will soon follow. Your natural charisma as a Leo is especially magnetic now. People are noticing the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you navigate challenges without losing your core. And whether or not you're in an official position of authority, your energy is influencing the room. So ask yourself, what am I modeling for others right now? Not just in what you do, but in how you do it. Your presence is powerful. Use it to uplift, to unify, to lead by example. This is also a moment to reconnect with the why behind your work, the mission, the heart, the part of your career that doesn't just pay the bills, but feeds your spirit. If recent days have felt like a grind, today offers a small but significant reset. One where you remember that work, at its best, is an extension of your essence, not a mask you wear. And as you realign with that inner fire, you may notice something interesting. The same energy that fuels your professional purpose also begins to stir something in your heart, because when you begin showing up more authentically in one area of life, the ripple effects are undeniable. Which brings us to love. As you move into the next part of your day, the line between career and connection may start to blur, not in a distracting way, but in a meaningful one. Your openness at work, your willingness to speak from truth, to lead with warmth, these are qualities that naturally carry over into your relationships. And just like in your professional life, your heart is asking a quiet but clear question. Am I showing up with presence? Am I creating space for something real? Because love, like purpose, doesn't thrive on performance, it thrives on alignment. And as the planets shift, you may find that the same clarity you're gaining at work is also asking to be applied in your emotional world. In love, today brings a subtle but powerful invitation to slow down and listen, not just to the other person, but to your own heart. The emotional weather around you is complex right now, and it's okay if you're feeling both drawn in and pulled back. Passion and doubt can coexist. Desire can sit right beside hesitation. What matters isn't having it all figured out. It's being willing to explore what's really true for you. If you're in a relationship, this is a day to get honest about the undercurrents. Those quiet thoughts or feelings you've been carrying, but haven't yet voiced. You don't need to have a dramatic conversation. You don't even need to resolve everything in one sitting. But consider opening a window. Invite clarity in. Speak from your heart, not from fear. Because the person who loves you can't read your silence, but they can respond to your truth. And if you're single or in a more undefined connection, this energy may bring both curiosity and confusion. You might find yourself drawn to someone but unsure where it's going. Or you may be revisiting old memories, asking whether a past chapter is truly closed. Don't rush for closure. Let your feelings breathe. Trust that even the messiness has something to teach you. The most important thing today is communication, but not just surface-level updates. This is about emotional transparency, not just saying what's convenient, but sharing what's vulnerable, and not for the sake of control or validation, but for the sake of connection. Because real intimacy doesn't begin when everything makes sense. It begins when two people are willing to not know together, but stay present anyway. And here's something else. The way you're showing up in love is a mirror of how you're showing up for yourself. If you've been withholding your voice, dimming your truth, or shrinking in moments that call for expansion, that pattern may be playing out both in your relationships and in your inner world. Today is a gentle but clear turning point, one where you're being asked to stop seeking permission and start expressing from a place of self-respect. Love doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. It requires the courage to be seen, even in your uncertainty. And in return, it gives you something rare, the space to grow together. Not just in romance, but in truth. As you begin to speak more clearly about what you need, what you feel, and what you're no longer willing to ignore, you'll notice a shift not only in how others relate to you, but in how you relate to yourself. That's the true transformation, not just loving someone else better, but loving yourself more, honestly. And as this emotional clarity deepens, your body will start to reflect it, which brings us into the final space of the day, your well-being, not just physically, but energetically. Because when your heart begins to open, your body begins to soften, and healing happens not through force, but through alignment. In the area of health, today's astrology reminds you that the body doesn't lie. Even when your mind pushes forward, your schedule demands more, or your emotions tell you to hold it together, your body speaks in subtler tones. Fatigue, tension, cravings, aches, and those signals, however small, are sacred. They are your body's way of asking for recalibration. This isn't a day for extremes, it's a day for listening, for noticing where you've pushed too far or neglected your own rhythm. The stars support you in finding the balance between effort and ease, between moving your energy and allowing it to settle. Maybe it's a morning walk instead of a full workout. Maybe it's choosing water over coffee this afternoon. Maybe it's simply lying still for 5 extra minutes before the day sweeps you away. The sun's alignment highlights the importance of natural light and fresh air. Even a short moment outdoors can clear mental fog and reawaken a part of you that's been feeling disconnected or heavy. If you've been spending too much time indoors, physically or metaphorically, consider this a cue to gently step out. Into the world, yes, but also back into your body. Food is also a messenger today, not just for fuel, but for healing. What you take in becomes what you move through. Consider simplifying your meals, not as a restriction, but as a way to offer your system a break. A few days of light, whole foods, hydration, and rest can act as a quiet detox, not just for the body, but for the nervous system that's been carrying more than it shows. This kind of gentle reset isn't about fixing anything. It's about remembering that you are worthy of care, that slowing down isn't a weakness, it's wisdom, that rest isn't something to earn, it's something to integrate. And when you care for your body as you would a beloved companion, it begins to respond, not just in strength, but in trust. Your energy today is sensitive, yes, but also intuitive. You may feel things more deeply in your body than usual. Pay attention to that. A headache may not just be dehydration, it might be a conversation you're avoiding. A tightness in the chest may not just be posture, it could be unspoken emotion. Your body isn't separate from your life story. It carries what you don't say, what you don't slow down long enough to feel. So let this be a day of gentle recalibration, a day where movement is intentional, rest is sacred, and nourishment is an act of devotion. The more you ground into your body now, the more clarity you'll have to face what's ahead, with grace, with strength, and with presence. In the quiet moments of today, your relationships with family and close friends come into gentle focus, not as obligations, but as mirrors. Astrology is pointing you inward, toward the spaces that have shaped your roots, and asking a tender question: what still needs to be healed between you and the people you love? You may feel a quiet pull to reach out, not necessarily to fix everything, but to reconnect, to soften the distance that's grown through busyness, silence, or unspoken tension. Old dynamics may resurface, not to unsettle you, but to offer another chance, a chance to approach them from a new place within yourself, one that's more grounded, less reactive, and ready to see things not just from your own lens, but with wider compassion. If there's been conflict, especially the kind that lingers just beneath the surface, this is a good day to acknowledge it. You don't have to solve it all at once, but opening space for a real conversation, or even a heartfelt gesture, can shift the energy in ways that ripple far beyond today. Healing doesn't always begin with answers. Sometimes it begins with the courage to say, "I've been thinking about you," or simply, "I'm here if you ever want to talk." Your presence, Your full, undistracted presence is the most powerful gift you can offer your loved ones right now. Whether it's sitting down for a shared meal, taking a walk together, or just putting your phone down long enough to really listen, these small moments become sacred. They remind the people in your life that they matter, that you're not just passing through their world, but choosing to be in it with them. You may also feel a need for more selectivity in who you share your space with. And that's okay. Scorpio's influence over the day favors depth over quantity. You don't need to spread yourself thin trying to please everyone. Instead, nurture the connections that feel reciprocal, rooted, and real. If certain relationships have become draining or one-sided, this is also a moment to set loving boundaries, not to shut people out, but to protect your peace, to recognize that honoring your energy is a way of honoring the relationship itself. When you tend to your emotional capacity, you show up more fully, not from obligation, but from choice. There's a quiet magic in today's familial and social energy, one that asks for nothing more than authenticity. No performance, no perfection, just your willingness to be real, to show up as you are, and to allow love to flow in its most human, imperfect form. Because in the end, it's not grand gestures that build connection. It's the steady return, the choice to keep showing up, especially when it's quiet, especially when it's vulnerable, especially when it matters most. In today's sky, the threads of compatibility weave themselves not just through personality traits, but through energy, through how you make others feel and how they reflect the truth of who you're becoming. For you, Leo, fire signs like Aries and Sagittarius mirror your intensity, your drive, your hunger for life lived in full color. They ignite your boldness, challenge your limits, and remind you that passion isn't something to hide, it's something to honor. These are the kinds of connections that feel electric, even in silence, where one look, one spark, can shift everything. And then there are the earth signs, Taurus and Capricorn, who bring a different kind of harmony. Their steadiness grounds you, their patience holds space for your dreams. They remind you that greatness isn't always loud, and that trust isn't built in the highs, but in the quiet consistency of showing up, again and again. With them, you may not always feel the fireworks, but you feel safe, and sometimes safety is what allows you to truly open. Let today be an exploration of how you feel around others. Not just how well you get along on paper, but what your body and spirit reveal in their presence. Who helps you breathe easier? Who encourages your truth, not just your performance? These are the people worth nurturing. And if any of those signs are moving in your orbit today, pay attention. They may be part of your next chapter. And as for the frequency that colors your path today, it is sunlit gold. This golden hue isn't just about brightness, it's about clarity, about choosing to walk through your day with warmth in your chest and your chin held high. It's the color of renewal, of confidence earned, not through applause, but through alignment. When you wear it, visualize it, or simply carry it in your energy, you're affirming to the universe, I trust who I'm becoming. Now, as we bring this moment to a close, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Not because something is ending. The stars today didn't ask for action. They asked for presence. For the courage to check in rather than check out. For the softness to feel, even when clarity comes slow. If you did that, even just a little, you're already changing the path ahead. So thank you for being here, for trusting this space, for honoring the quiet wisdom of your own unfolding. Until next time, walk gently, speak truthfully, and let your light be felt, not for attention, but because it's real. You are, as always, exactly where you need to be.